to you a couple of hours following the webinar. You'll get that link to the recording. Quick to start off with a little disclaimer. Trade Ideas is a publisher. You understand that no content published as part of the Trade Ideas trading services constitutes a recommendation that any particular investment, security, portfolio of securities, transaction, or investment strategy is suitable for any specific person. This is going to be an educational seminar for the most part, and I'm going to introduce your host now. Very experienced trader. He's been with Trade Ideas for a long time, Mr. Steve Gomez. Steve?
Thanks, Scott. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in on a Wednesday night and giving us a little bit of your time. I'm going to spend the next 30, 35, 40 minutes or so talking about the value of Trade Ideas. Now, I know it said in the bio or the email that CEO Dan Merkin was to be hosting tonight. If you showed up only in hopes of seeing Mr. Merkin and listening to his wisdom and only the way he can deliver it, sorry to disappoint you. It's for a good reason that I'm stepping in tonight. Dan is on a plane as we speak, along with our CTO, Phil, and they are getting ready to audition for the upcoming fall season of Shark Tank. So fingers crossed, should be an interesting 24 hours for Mr. Merkin, and we hope that the Shark Tank casting group is as receptive as we are excited about our product. So that's the reason I'm stepping in today. I put in the chat window real quickly, there is a chat window down there, and I've put a bio for myself, a link on who I am, who you're listening to today, but just real quickly to skip through it. I'm actually user number 3 in the Trade Ideas system. I've been around since the inception of the company as a trader, much like Dan and Brad and the other individuals involved. This is a system created by traders for traders. So I've been with this company and associated with this company since the beginning. I'm on Twitter under the handle @TodayTrader for 4.5 years or so. I ran a live trading room with my partner Andy Lindloff under the name Today Trader, and we had desktop sharing for traders. I've been trading since '95, whether it's commodities or futures or stocks, and at one time myself and Andy were also over in China teaching some of the proprietary Chinese traders how to trade the U.S. markets in the middle of the night. So that was a fun feather in my cap as well. But enough about me. Let's move on. Again, Trade Ideas has been involved in the creating innovative tech for traders for over 13 years and built by traders for traders. It's been a very successful run, and the growth curve is just increasing by leaps and bounds. The main focus for many years was the relationships that we've had over the years with Scottrade, E-Trade, and eSignal recently, and Lightspeed, and of course StockTwits. But there's been a shift going from business to consumer in the last couple of years, and it's been a very, very exciting shift to say the least. My job here today on this presentation is to help traders see the forest through the trees. I mean, we all understand that trading can be very anxious at times, especially between the bells, and emotions can come into play. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's easy to chase your tail. We want to try and simplify things and bring them down to something that's very simple and basic and efficient and easy, and that's what I'm going to try and do today here with the help of the Trade Ideas software. You know, a couple of thoughts of the evolution of technology in the fintech market for traders. You know, if you use an example of maybe how we use a map, you know, back in the day, we got from A to B just by how somebody gave us directions or how the crow flies. And then we had printed maps, and we had the Thomas Brothers. If you guys remember, we all used to use those Thomas Brother maps. We'd keep a big, thick copy of that in our car and pull that book out and take a look at it to see where we're going. And then GPSs started to come in and help people with navigation, and we kind of liken that to, you know, FinViz or Yahoo Finance. But what we feel that we've done with Trade Ideas is something akin to taking your Google navigation system and plugging in the destination and having it set to profit. And I'll explain more how we talk about that. Just a quick little secret. I mean, we might not all think this, but you're probably not as good at figuring out if a trade is likely to work or not. And what do I mean by that? I mean, sure, we can take a stab at it, but there is a better way. Some of the things that stand in our way as traders is ego. I've told the story recently of a trader way back in the day who failed miserably and unfortunately because it was his ego. He was an attorney, so if there are any attorneys in the audience looking to start trading, bear what I have to say here with some significant weight. His ego as an attorney, the poor guy, he was trained to argue a side and keep that side. Unfortunately, he was never really able to open his mind and take the other side. And so I use that as an example of ego getting in the way of your trading. You know, just not admitting when you're wrong, not having an open mind, not being able to accept the fact that you took a loss and have to be wrong and maybe trade the other side, even though you fought for the original side. Emotions, of course, we've all experienced those. You know, once you start trading with real money in the market, you start to have fear and greed and panic, and those emotions are never a good thing for the trader. So for sure. We have the ability to see in all scales. I'm sorry, we lose the inability to see the market for what's happening in every scale. For instance, today, you know, we did have market activity that was a bit more volatile than usual. The volatility today came from the FOMC meetings, but all these things stacked together are things that are standing in our way of being a successful trader. So some of the things that we feel it does take to win is simple, nothing more than practice. And, you know, I have a couple of examples coming forward here of how we can practice. I'll put that to use. But, you know, if you think about a professional golfer, you know, yeah, he's on the course playing 18 holes and his score is going down and his score is being scored and he's in the thick of things. But when he's done with that, where does he go? He goes back to the practice range. You know, I've heard people say that, you know, paper trading and things like that are not good because they don't really test your emotions in real time. Well, that's my argument. You know, professional golfers don't see it that way. They're constantly on the practice range, working on their game, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. So we have a question. It's a simple question. Do you think you can analyze 1 million unique trades to find that handful of trades that you should be looking at today? And can you do that without staying up all night? Or in reality, can you do that staying up all night for 30 days? Probably not. I think we know the answer to that. But at Trade Ideas, we have a AI, artificial intelligence, that uses the statistics and the odds of the possible outcomes to analyze millions of trades over the evening and spitting out scenarios the following day that can make it easier for you to follow and make for better trading decisions. I'm going to go back to our original slide here. When we first tuned in, what we're looking at here is exposing hidden alpha, and the AI is what we've been using to expose the hidden alpha. The blue line here is our S&P, pretty much flat for the year, but alpha is defined as extraordinary performance above and beyond, you know, the traditional benchmarks. And so this is a graphical illustration of the alpha since January 1st that Trade Ideas and the AI channel have been delivering. Another secret is not focusing on the same stocks. You know, people like to talk about the leadership, you know, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, stocks like that. Well, there are so many other things in the market that can be traded. And the idea of Trade Ideas is to locate that alpha. We joke about it. We say there's alpha hiding in the cracks, and we're using Trade Ideas to digitally frack that alpha and expose it. So if you're just watching the same stock list over and over and over, you're missing out on some really good opportunities to help improve your performance. And something that's been, you know, recently is MGT, and this is a screenshot from Dan. He wanted everybody to see that, you know, he does talk the talk and walk the walk. MGT was spit out by one of our scanners on the day it took off at 87 cents. You can see it was a purchase here made by our CEO, Dan, at 87. This was yesterday's price of 402. Today it was actually dumped above $5. And, you know, the percent value and percent gain is just incredible. And there's a lot of these types of percentage gains out there. For instance, another stock today was GBSN. So aside from just having the Trade Ideas scanners and the tools available to you, we also have the live trading room. And we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But in the live trading room, there's over 350 people in there focusing on our live trader, Barry, demonstrating how we use the Trade Ideas products day in and day out. And you can bet MGT and also the GBSN of the last couple of days were the darling of the last couple of days. The trading room was all over that, and there was a lot of great alpha to be captured using both the trading room and the Trade Ideas product. So it's real simple. If you decide to, and we hope you do, take a test drive of Trade Ideas, it's nothing more than a quick download, a minute to install, and then a few seconds, and you're up and going. It's plug and play at its finest. And this is a copy of our channel bar, which I'll demonstrate shortly, to show you how you can unbox this thing and just start clicking away and have access to some really powerful stuff. Just a quick testimonial here. This is from a man named Jorge, and Jorge is in our live trading room day in and day out, but he just wanted us to know right off the bat, the very first day he was making money enough to pay for his subscription, and he canceled his other services, and so he's in there day in and day out. He's a great resource, as well as Barry and many other of the Trade Ideas family. So with that said, that's kind of a setup to how we want to talk about using our technology to extract alpha out of the markets. And let's just go ahead and exit out of our slide here and get right to it. This is a copy of the Trade Ideas platform. It is the downloadable version. We also have an online version, which is contained in a web browser. But for now, this is our flagship product, a downloadable version. And you can see we have the cloud channels over here on the right. And as I said, it really is as simple as just downloading it and then start clicking into the channels like you would on maybe a Netflix channel. We got the pre-market channel. Well, you can see we've got all these great pre-configured scanners and alerts and top lists, as we call them. This one is focused on what's happening pre-market. We have our up gappers and our down gappers. We have a social media channel, which is perusing the social media network of StockTwits, and instead of looking for stock volume, it's looking for social media mentions. And what's unique about Trade Ideas is it has a benchmark on over 8,700 stocks in the U.S. market, so it knows what the baseline values are, the average volume for the day, the average volume for a 5-minute candle. How many mentions does it get a day on StockTwits? Is it above or below that mention? And that's all very good information that certainly helps us. The surge channel, for those that are looking for stocks that are exploding very quickly in volume, here's the surge channel. And again, these are all pre-configured alerts that are being used by numerous people and are available to you. We have an options channel that focuses primarily on options and all those things. And at the very bottom of the channel, we have the access to the free trading room. We also have a list of the free trading room's tools that Barry uses. This is a brand new channel that we just added, so everybody can kind of follow along and see what the moderator of that room is doing. But here's what's really cool about these channels, and I'll just show you real quickly. We have a cloud feature that allows us to borrow and take these really cool pre-configured alerts and put them back into our mix. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate real quickly. Rather than going to this channel every day pre-market, I can just grab this alert, right-click, save it to my cloud, and this is the drill that we do. I'm just going to go back to my default layout, and then now I'm able to download from the cloud that alert that I just borrowed from the channel. I'm basically taking somebody else's work and using it for my own. So I load from the cloud, and there it is right at the top waiting for me, load. And what I've just done there is I've just made an exact replica, an exact copy of what was on that channel. And now I can have this on my layout to use as I see fit. So the cloud not only allows us to beg and borrow and steal from the channels. Let's say you've got some friends or some other trading buddies that use Trade Ideas as well. Well, the real genius and beauty of this particular platform is the ability to share and share in the cloud. So what I could do is I could click Save and Share, and this code right here, this code string can go into my clipboard, and I can email it to you or chat window it to you or Skype it or Twitter it to you, whatever. And as long as you have a copy of Trade Ideas running, you can accept that link and open it up and spawn an exact replica copy for yourself. So of course, if I give you this code now, it's not going to work. It's going to fall on deaf ears. But if you do have Trade Ideas going forward, this is a great way to use for sharing some of the great work that's been put together. So I'm going to go ahead and close that and talk a little bit about more the differences of some of our tools. We have a few different tools. We have alerts, which are basically real-time alerts, which have to be time-stamped with a time and a price stamp, and I'll go into in a minute as to why that is necessary. We also, and those are signified with the A here, by the way. So the A alerts are real time. We're talking like new highs, new lows, crossed above, crossed below, block print, numerous prints, whatever type of activity you're looking for. Well, as a matter of fact, let's just take a look at the unbelievable amount of options we have. If I open my configuration window to create a new alert, you can see we're starting off with the real basics here, new high, new low, new high bid, new low bid. But if I scroll down, you're going to start to see over 13 years how much work and feedback have gone into building more alerts and more filters. I'm only halfway through here, and those are just the alerts. Now we're getting into our filters to filter out volume and filter out other things. So it can be very intimidating when you pull up this chart here and try and figure out, well, what do I want to configure for? Well, maybe you've got some keywords in mind. Let's just play the keyword game here. Let's use the word gap. We've got 4 alerts that have to do with gaps, and we've got 4 filters that have to do with gaps. Maybe we're a fan of Bollinger Bands. Well, I just type in a couple key symbols there, Bollinger, and you see everything that Trade Ideas has to offer with Bollinger Bands. Well, volume is just going to be a huge option of different volume filters. And at any given time, you can highlight any one of these and just say, well, let me see the documentation on this. What exactly is a 1-minute volume spike anyway? Well, when we click Help, it's going to launch into a web browser here that shows you a great documentation of all of our alerts and all of our filters. So you've always got at your fingertips the exact definition that you're looking for. So again, there are so many different types of things we can work on. We've got MACDs, we've got moving averages, we've got like Fibonacci type stuff. So it takes a long time to get in there and see exactly what we've got. It would take me a long time to explain that, I should say. But I wanted to quickly show you what types of tools are available to you. So this is an alert window. It only had one alert for this particular strategy today. This we call a top list window, a T indicated. The only difference on this versus an alert is the top list does not have an event. When we go to configure, we do not have new highs or new lows. We simply just have a bunch of filters. And as long as these filters are satisfied, they're going to show up here on this particular list. And I want to take a quick second here to kind of define what this list was looking for. This has been one of our better tools that more people have been asking for lately, and we gladly give them a copy of it. It's called the Trend Change Lubricant Factor. And what I'm going to do is just quickly open up this daily chart and zoom out a little bit. I'm going to start clicking on these, and you're going to see, if I zoom out a little bit more, here we go, you're going to start seeing some similarity on these daily charts. Most of them are down on the year and trying to turn back up, especially this one. Here's another one, all kind of a very similar look. And here's what we're doing with these. What we're doing is we're looking for the possibility of a trend change. And I'm going to show you how simple it was to configure this. There's really only 3 basic filters here in configuring what we're looking for. The first is, hey, it's got to be up at least 1% change from the close. So what we do is we put a 1 value in here, 1% is the value, and we want to check our work real quickly with this show me icon. We check our work, and this is what the server is understanding us to say. The price was up at least 1% from the previous close. Okay, so we try to make it as easy as possible so you can see just exactly what these values mean. On price, we're filtering for price between 1 and 1,000. A big filter there, but nonetheless still a filter. But here's where it gets really interesting. We have what we call position in year range. Position is a keyword and range is a keyword. So for this one, we're using a year range, 52 weeks. And on the maximum column, we've put in a value of 35%. So what we're saying here is nothing can be more than 35% off of their lows in a 1-year range. It can be anywhere from 0 or 10% off its lows, but nothing more than 35. So this guarantees us that we're seeing stuff down here in the lower end of its range. But the real magic comes in on this next one, which is position in 20-day range. So now we're doing a position again, but we're only going back 20 days to try and create a shape that we're looking for here in these patterns. Having a 99% value in the minimum column is basically saying, show us the stocks that are 1% away from making a 20-day high. So what we've done is inverted 2 layers here. a layer on the 52-week, which says they got to be beaten up and down in their 1/3 level of the lower basement, but they've got to be trying to turn and move higher by being 1% away from making a 20-day high. Let me close that because that's going to cause me issues. So here's another example of what these might look like. Now, you'll notice there's a red line in here. This red line is of significance because I'm identifying this as a trade that I would like to know about if it ever comes to me. So here's where we start laying out our groundwork to try and simplify the market and make this a method rather than a crazy, chasing your tail type system day in and day out. What's stock twit's talking about? What's this talking about? What are those lights? What's this high? What's that high? What we're doing here is we're just quietly and calmly going and doing our homework here at the end of the day. And if there's a line that I like, for instance, a new high possibly, maybe it's going to take a week or so to get there, but I'd like to know about it, I can give myself that alert by right-clicking and doing what's called creating a price alert. And when I create that price alert, it's setting that line up, and that line is going to be brought to my attention on my price alerts if that ever triggers. So let's talk a little bit quickly here about these price alerts and how we use them. This is a great feedback and a great teaching tool. I try and clean this thing out maybe every 2 weeks and then start re-entering new possible triggers and new trades. Well, as you can see, these are the ones that have triggered for me, and the ones that have triggered, they're up over $5. The ones that are still working have not triggered. But the beauty of this is that I can track in real time the P&L, how these are working since they've triggered. And if I've got a negative P&L up here, it's letting me know that whatever method I'm using here is not really working. And it's giving me that feedback quickly and cheaply. So I always want to see a nice positive number here to let me know that these are working. What can we do? We can change our entries. We can do pullback entries. We can look to do more shorts or more longs. But nonetheless, this is a great feedback tool for any new trader or any seasoned trader for that matter to let them know just exactly how their eye is catching the particular entries and if those entries are working or if they're getting stopped out. Now, the beautiful thing about this is, like everything else on Trade Ideas, it is shareable. We can collaborate this stuff. I could take only my working trades and just say, let me highlight these and drop these into the cloud, and I can save these and give them to whoever I want. So it's almost like, copying somebody else's homework. And we feel that's going to be a really interesting value-added proposition going forward because this really is a rather new feature for us. But, going forward, some of the people we have here in Trade Ideas, we have over 80, 85 years worth of trading experience. And when you start to get that type of experience and the ability to share your homework, it gets pretty interesting. So we're really excited about how those price alerts are going moving forward. But again, the theory being is, do your homework, find the setups that you like, and set those price alerts, and let these trades come to you in real time. Be like the most interesting man at the world sitting at the bar, letting everybody else come up and talk to him rather than going around and chasing everybody else trying to get their name. That's a real easy way to stay focused and stay calm, because a lot of times I'll give myself a particular note, like let's see, I did a particular price alert that I set back, and I pullback alert. All right, a pullback alert in CWEI. As a matter of fact, I actually took CWE off because I had that one triggered early. And you can see it's just another typical type setup here on these trend change lubricants, where once the price gets above this pivot level, now that opens up another idea here that is using on the trend change lubricant. We are able to sort these columns based on volume metrics, on percentage change, but I choose to short this one based on short float percent. So last week, this CWEI was all over the trend change lubricant. It was at the top here because I had it sorted, and it just so happened to have about a 46% short float percentage. So those are the ones that I like to know about when they break above these high levels of pivot. If you're a short seller, and you're breaking above this pivot level here, you got some thinking to do. You got some decisions to make. You can stick around for some more pain, or you can get out and buy to cover. And that buying to cover creates a short squeeze frenzy, which I believe happened on CWEI. Now, that trade is over, but I'm looking for the next setup, the next 2.0 setup. So I've got a red line in here, and I've set it using a 15-minute chart just to get a little bit more perspective. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow or the next day they might shake the trees, they being the market makers, the algos, the powers that be that run the market out there. It's just an expression. They may try and move the price down a low below this level, which is kind of an obvious stop level in my mind. I like to be more contrarian sometimes in my entries, and using these price alerts for a pullback alert is a very contrarian type of mentality. So looking at this level, this would make the most sense right here for the stops to try and get run. And believe me, stop hunts, they do happen. And if you can identify some levels that look the most obvious, well, maybe bring it down just a little bit for some extra slop, and I set an alert right there, and it's a pullback alert. But what I do when a pullback alert pops up is I remind myself, hey, this is not a breakout, this is a pullback. It's not black and white. There might be a little bit of slop here. Just watch the price action. Watch that price action, see if a bidder steps up, see if you start to get some basing, and you're giving yourself a really good opportunity for a good pullback type entry where you're not getting stopped out. Because if you're looking at your price alerts and you're setting up breakouts all across, and they're all longs, and now they're all breakouts, but a lot of those breakouts might have had 2 or 3 days of good run behind them. Some of those breakouts might be running out of steam, and you're finding out real quick that they're rolling over and stopping you out, only to build a base and turn around and move higher. So the point being is you can use this price alert as a great way to give yourself some contrarian entries and give you a heads up when things are coming back to an area of interest that you have predefined. And when that alert goes off, these are just trades being served up into your face one by one, and you can either take them or you can decline them. And we've been affectionately calling this little simplicity method the Holly Trinity. Holly being a play on the words Holy Grail. We're calling it the Holly Trinity because Holly is our AI, which we will get to in a moment. But essentially, we're using our trade ideas, alerts, and our top lists, and our information that's coming to us. We're using our charts, which are nothing more than footprints in the sand, to find areas of interest. And then we're using the third component, the price alerts, to bring the price alert to our attention in real time. So we're not necessarily chasing our tail all day long in the market looking for the next thing. We're having the next thing hopefully served up to us a few times throughout the day. All right, so that is that for a top list. We've talked about alerts. We've talked about top lists. We also have something that we call a multi-strategy. A multi-strategy window is nothing more than just numerous alerts in one window. So rather than just having one window, one alert, we've actually got 6 strategies located in this particular window. 3 of them are moving higher with unusually strong volume. 3 of them are moving lower with unusually strong volume. And they're all color-coded there. And this is the type of window that we use, or that Barry uses, in the live trading room. So if you're not in the live trading room, I don't know why you wouldn't be. It's free. It's not costing you anything. And there's a great demonstration of how to use these multi-strategies, which are essentially looking for, in this particular case, strong call and put volume in the options pits. And then just essentially trading the stock off of what you're seeing come through here on the volume tiers. As a giant increase in volume to 300% of call volume, well, that's probably going to show up on here, and a lot of these stocks have some good runs. But again, I don't want to spend too much time on that because during the day in our live trading room, Barry does an excellent job of demonstrating in real time how this works. Now, a few years after inception, we came up with another tool that we call the backtester. The backtester is a wonderful tool, and it's actually what our AI is on. So it's worth doing a little bit of background and foundation on the backtester and how it works. Now, we can only backtest an alert, and that's why I said earlier that we need a timestamp and a price stamp. And that allows our backtester to peg what certain trades would have done for you under certain circumstances. So real quickly, this one has a new high, but it's essentially using Bollinger Bands to try and look for a quick reversion to the mean type scalp. And it's only holding for 30 or 40 minutes. Well, I just clicked on the one alert that came out today, and we can see here on the 15-minute chart, the blue arrow came out, triggered at 15:01, which is right about here. And it was a short strategy. The theory behind this one is it's designed for looking for Bollinger Bands that are being pushed to the extreme on 60-minute charts, but doing it with very anemic volume. We wouldn't want to jump in front of a Bollinger Band push on strong volume, but if they're going to push the price through the Bollinger Bands on weak volume, there's probably a better chance that we're going to get some sort of a quick reversion to the mean. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to use a back test to try and determine how well this strategy works for a quick 30 or 40-minute short sale on a reversion to the mean. So we go to our target alert and we click back test. Now we have a little bit of configuration to do here. To start off with, realize that I'm on the West Coast, so 6:30 a.m. is my 9:30, and 1 p.m. is my 4 o'clock, so that's when the markets close. But for starters, we're just going to sample this at the opening bell and maybe take it all the way into maybe 12:30. We'll see how that does. A timed exit, we're going to hold it for 30 minutes. It's just, as you can see from this example, it's kind of a quick little reversion to the mean scalp, but I think we can find a good window of opportunity to make this work. And that's what the backtester is going to tell us. It's going to tell us, is this a crap idea or is this a valid idea? And you guys would be surprised when you start backtesting things that you think are a great idea. The backtester does a great job of saving you money and saying, no, this is crap. You don't want to use real money on this. And it's great. And that happens more often than not. But what we're going to do here is look what a really good strategy looks like. So 30 minutes is our hold time. Our risk management is in place. We're telling the system we're going to use a stop loss of 1%, close the trade if it goes against us 1%, and log it. And if we go 3% within 30 minutes, that's our profit target. Close the trade and log it as a profit. Here's our advanced testing. We can test anywhere from 0 to 65 days. We're going to test all 65 trading days. This is about a calendar on the month worth of data. And before we run that, here's our summary just to make sure this is what we do before we hit the button. Here's our time that we're testing. We're going to hold for 30 minutes. Here's our risk reward. All right, let's go ahead and simulate a sell. And hopefully we get to the end of this pretty quickly. It looks like our servers are working pretty quick tonight. What this is showing us is a thumbnail sketch of what our equity curve should look like on our account, on our brokerage account. So what we've got here is a quick summary of what a fictitious, say, $50,000 account would have looked like if you had risked, $10,000 on each trade, 1/5 of your account on each trade for just a quick scalp. This is the type of equity growth that you could expect to have. The black line being, of course, the gross, but we can also filter and go net for commissions. Everybody's commissions are different and things like that. We can go into the calendar and see which days were good and where the trades were, which days were bad, where the trades were. But let's take a look at these key metrics here because this is going to tie in really nicely to the AI and what the AI is doing every evening. So we've manually done this back test and we've got a profit factor of 2.44. That's pretty good. We want to see a profit factor of at least 2.0 or greater. A profit factor of 1.0 would simply be a coin flip. Every win is overcoming every loss is overcovering every win, and we're not getting anywhere. But on a profit factor of 2.0 or higher, it's at least showing us that we're making the step in the right direction and we're winning more than we are losing. The total trade count was 172 trades, going back 65 trading days for a 58.1% win percentage. Not bad, but average winner is 21 cents, average loser is 12 cents. So a good win-loss ratio there. But I think we can do better. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to optimize this and see if we can do better. So manually, we can click this optimization tab. And if we go into time of day, we can see something rather interesting here. This is a heat map of the day broken down into 30-minute intervals. And looking at this right off the bat, we can see that the first 2 hours didn't do that much for us. But starting at 8:30 Pacific Coast time, we had a nice chunk of good heat map green positive returns here. So what this is showing us is this particular strategy seems to work a lot better during this time of day, 8:30 Pacific to 12 o'clock East. So let's go ahead and rerun this and see if we can improve on those metrics. So we're going to go in and simply just adjust our time of day to 8:30, where the good stuff started happening, according to the AI backtesting. And we'll back it off at 12 o'clock. Nothing good looks like it's happening after noon. So we can just go ahead and rerun this quickly, and then we can compare and see if we made an improvement. And this is what we call optimization using the backtesting tool. Well, it looks like we did a good job because I can see the profit factor basically went from 2.4 up to 4.5. Very good. We cut our trades almost in half. We did 172 trades originally, but we've cut those trades down to only 94 trades over that time period, and now we've got a win percentage of 70%. So this is a really good, viable trading strategy here according to our backtester. And what we just did was a manual optimization drill. The time of day can be optimized. The price of the stocks can be optimized. The watch list of the symbols that seem to perform the best can be optimized and only focused on those. Other filters that we use. There are many, many things that can be tweaked and retweaked and re-optimized. And that's exactly what Holly, our AI, does every single night to the tune of about 1 million trades. And so that's why I showed you this manual version of backtesting, which we were using for so many years. But back late 2015, we launched our AI, which we affectionately gave the name Holly. And what Holly does is takes about 35 base strategies that we've given her and loads them into the hopper and starts doing the exact same thing that we just did here on a demonstration using the backtest and optimizing and rerunning and optimizing and rerunning and optimizing and rerunning to the tune of about 1 million times every evening. And what it's come up with the following morning is a list of strategies. Today we had 3 strategies short and it looks like 7 strategies long. And those strategies may be deployed or they may not be deployed. A couple of them never saw the game today, but some of these did see the game. It was a tricky day today. The FOMC did not help. There was a lot of volatility. But we kind of look at Holly as like our canary in the coal mine. You know, it was a tough day. It was negative P&L. But that's why I showed you that graph at the beginning of the webinar, because we are putting together casino-type odds here with Holly. It's outperforming over the long run. Now, is a casino going to win every day? No, but in the long run, they're going to have casino-type odds. And you can see there's a scoring mentality, this win percentage. These are what helped make these strategies make the cut last night. So in all the back testing and optimization that went on last night, these particular strategies had the best score and were deemed the best representation to come into the market and have the best chance for profitability today. Now, we did have some trades today. There's a couple of reasons that the exit reasons. We have time stops. Let's talk about that for a second. Time stop. Basically, all of these trades were exited today on a time clock. The AI has to get out at a certain time. It has to get out before the end of the day, but sometimes it'll get out within an hour. It just depends on the strategy and what the AI feels the best time to exit the strategy is. But that doesn't always mean that we have to get out along with her. Here's an example today of a stock that Holly made 18 cents on. And let's look at the 15-minute chart. Here's the arrow showing the entry price. And then she probably got out right around here. Well, here's a stock that's making new highs, and when you look down and seeing that the AI is getting out because the shot clock is expiring, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to get out. There was more alpha on the upside to be had here, and this is where the trader's hat has to come on and the discretionary exiting has to come on into your part. Holly serves up statistically sound ideas as a trade idea, but it's up to us to manage the trade and determine when we want to get out. Now, there are times when a stop loss will get hit, stop hit, and in those cases, we generally recommend you follow the advice of Holly because she does a great job of risk management. She's got some quantitative analysis in there that comes up with what she calls a smart stop, and many times adhering to that smart stop is good advice. But on a time stop, just because she's getting out doesn't always necessarily mean you need to get out. So again, the way we look at this is a very, very statistically probable generation of trade ideas in and above what we've been building all these years. This is the newest and most exciting tool that we have, and we're tickled to death to see it outperforming the S&P, and that's why Dan and Phil are on their way to Las Vegas today to try and get the word out here a little bit more using the Shark Tank leveraging. So again, you know, some of the highlights of this product is the channel bar is there waiting for you, tons of great setups already configured, the ability to share, and we share with our community all the time the stuff that's working. I share with these people all the time that come into my webinar what it is that's working, and they usually want a copy of it, and so I'm glad to give it to them. And we keep our emails open for constant hand-holding and constant help. Somebody might write me and say, hey, how would I look for a stock that gapped up but on this volume, but that compared to yesterday did this? And we'll do our best to try and help. So, you know, when you subscribe to Trade Ideas, it doesn't just stop there. We have a great onboarding concierge platform to help people get up to speed and use this product to their method. You know, myself and Jamie, we spend an hour with everybody. When they're onboarded, if they want to, they can book an hour with us, and we'll sit here and talk about what it is they're trying to look for, what their time frame is, what their motivation is, what they're looking for, and we custom tailor that 1 hour with everybody to make sure that this is getting you in the right direction with the method that you are wanting to use. I see a question there about our email address. We're going to give you a couple slides here on the outgoing, so you'll be able to email us at any time. We've got some great product codes as well. And with that said, you know, it's been about a quick 40 minutes here. I'm going to turn it back over to Scott, and I appreciate all your time for tuning in and listening to us talk about our product that we do love so much. Let me see if I can find that slide, Scott.
Yeah, thank you. Good presentation.
Again, let me see if I can find that slide. Give me a second here. There we go.
Yeah, number 16 on that next one there. Yeah,
Great.
so something I want to do is thank everyone for registering, and as a thank you, we're going to give you a free trade of the week every week in your Monday email inbox. And it'll include information about how we use the AI to identify the trade of the week, why we think it'll perform, what our recommended stop is, all of that good stuff. You'll also get invitations to an exclusive webinar for trade of the week. And just want to also reiterate that we provide a community for our traders, for the people that use our software. We have a traders room, which is free to the public. And Barry Anderson is our host, and he's our moderator, and he's there every day showing you how he's successfully capturing alpha using trade ideas. We also have supporting webinars every week in addition to our Trade of the Week webinars. We have these are support webinars with our trainers and our CEO and our product development guide, Brad Williams. And very informative. They're free to the public, although the office hours in Jamie's Trading Studio and QA webinars are sometimes more focused on using the software. They always have great information about trading and using them, how to successfully capture alpha in the markets today. And we are surprisingly affordable if you compare the kind of technology we have to something like Bloomberg, which is a hassle to try and figure out how to use. You can get us for only $99 a month or under $900 a year. And so it's over $2,500 worth of platform access, cost you way less. We have a full hour of training for everyone that signs up, and that's a one-on-one with either Jamie or Steve with screen sharing, showing you how to set up your layouts to suit your trading style and where to find all the tidbits inside the software to be successful. As an additional thank you, I have included a product code, and this is good through the end of the month for 25% off of everything, including the monthly, the annual, access to the AI and backtesting tools. I will have Actually, I already have that there. Go ahead and take a look at the handouts panel in your GoToWebinar interface, and there's a PDF right there for you to download that contains a lot of this information for you. Again, it's a great way to sign up if you go ahead and get the monthly. It's $99 a month, and there's absolutely no contract, so you can just try us out, get the hour of free training, come to the trading room every day, and you'll see how Trade Ideas can really change the way that you trade. If you have any questions at all, we have some contact information on the last one for you. This is also in the handout, so if you do download that PDF, you'll have all of our contact information. Email us at info@trade-ideas.com. That goes directly to our help desk. Best way to do that, if you have a question for Steve, who gave this presentation tonight, he's steve@trade-ideas.com. We're at Facebook. We post some new things at Facebook occasionally, and that is unique to there, so it's facebook.com/tradeideiaspro. Steve, you can follow him at TodayTrader on Twitter, or follow our CEO, Dan Merkin, at TradeIdeas1. I want to thank everyone for attending and taking a look at what we have to offer. I would encourage all of you to keep an eye out in your inbox for the Trade of the Week and come to the Trade of the Week webinar next week to see how we chose it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Steve, and thanks, Jamie, for also helping out in the questions panel. Everyone is going to receive a link to the recording of the webinar and also the product code again in an email a couple hours from now or by tomorrow morning at least. Again, thanks, Steve. Thanks, everyone, for attending. Any questions, info@trade-ideas.com.
Great. Hope to see some of you next Wednesday night. Thank you.